is now recording. So good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to be with everyone here today. I think we're going to have a fun workshop ahead. In case you're lost, you're here for ChatGPT Happy Hour. So if you're in the wrong training, you can still turn around. No, I'm just kidding. We are here for ChatGPT Happy Hour. So we're going to be covering a lot of really useful skills today. My goal is to get everybody out of here just getting better results from ChatGPT. Or honestly, when I say ChatGPT, it has kind of become the catch-all term, right? It's like when people say, I'm going to Google something. So when I say ChatGPT, I mostly just mean AI tools, right? Whether you are using Gemini or Claude or any Copilot, any of your favorites, most of the skills that you're going to see here today apply to any tool that you may be using. So as a way of introduction, for those who I haven't had a chance to meet, my name is Thiago Ferreira. I am the CEO of Elevate AI Consulting, where I am both an AI consultant and educator. So that means on one hand, I work usually with the leadership of businesses on developing AI strategies and governance and policies and other AI solutions as well for companies. And on the other hand, I do a lot of AI training, corporate trainings, education. I work with a lot of high schools as well. And you guys are actually going to be the first people to find out, other than my mom and my husband, that I was just hired at the University of Miami as an adjunct professor. So I am teaching a course there next semester called Human-Centered AI for All. So if anybody has their kids attending UM, tell them to take my class. I just need 8 people to sign up, otherwise they cancel it. So I'm really excited about that. And that's all just to say I really enjoy doing stuff like this. I enjoy doing the trainings and the workshops and the boot camps. So if that's something that you're interested in for your business, please reach out and let me know as well. Kathy, the name of my class is Human-Centered AI for All. And it is available for both undergrad and graduate students. So I'm excited. I'm preparing that course. That obviously starts next semester in August. So back to the topic at hand. What are we going to be covering here today? I'm going to start with some prompting basics. As some of you may know, prompting, the way that you prompt, the way that you structure the input that you put into ChatGPT is actually the most important part. If you've attended my AI Fundamentals workshop that I've done for the Chamber in the past, you've seen a little bit about it, so it's going to be a short refresher. Then I want to talk to you about some of my favorite ChatGPT features. So we're going to look at the ChatGPT Deep Research mode, which can become your personal research assistant. I want us all to take a look at our ChatGPT security and privacy settings so we can make sure that we're not training our competitors with our company data, right? Then we are going to take a quick look at your ChatGPT personalization settings, the memories that ChatGPT is saving and accessing about you, and how to connect other apps to ChatGPT so ChatGPT can access and do multiple things for you with your information. And then finally, I want to show you ChatGPT agent mode in case you have not gotten to see an AI agent in action yet. And you can hopefully get some ideas of different ways that you can have your own little AI assistant agent for your business as well. So let's start by talking about prompting, right? Again, if you've attended my AI Fundamentals workshop in the past, this may look slightly familiar. So let's do a quick refresher. And the concept with prompting is that what you get out of ChatGPT is only as good as you put in. They call it garbage in, garbage out. So if the prompts that you put into ChatGPT is vague, lacks information, doesn't have correct information, the output, the answer that you're going to get from ChatGPT is also going to be trash. So I have this framework that I call the PREPA framework. I know that you're all familiar with PrEP. This is the PREPA framework, okay? So add an A at the end and you can easily remember it. And it stands for, and I'm going to go through it one by one, this is how you want to structure your prompt. So let me give you an example, right? And I always like to give the example. So I get home from work, right? And I'm hungry, right? And as it happens, as it always happens, right? There's nothing to eat, right? Or there's nothing that I feel like eating that day. So I call my husband and I'm like, hey, hubby, can you bring home dinner? And my hubby, of course, says, yeah, of course, I'll grab some dinner, right? So then an hour later, my hubby gets home and he brought Chipotle. And he did a pretty good job. Right? He remembered that I'm eating the brown rice. He remembered that I like the guac instead of the queso, etc. He really made it just the way that I usually like it. But I am a true Miamian, and today I was just really in the mood for for Publix chicken tender sub. The problem there, so I'm still not satisfied, right? Even though I got what I usually like, it was customized the way that I usually like it. It was with the things that I usually want. It was still not what I wanted that day. And that's actually my fault, right? I told my hubby, grab dinner, and he grabbed what he knew I liked. It just wasn't what I wanted. With ChatGPT is exactly the same, right? We have to remember that these tools do not live in our heads. When we talk about artificial intelligence, the artificial comes from the machines, the intelligence comes from you. You're supplying the intelligence. So you have to tell it exactly what you want. Give it information so that it can give you a good answer. So that is why the PREPA framework. So first, when you're writing your prompt, you're going to start with, we're going to go through one by one, the pre-existing conditions. So you're going to tell ChatGPT the context, who you are, what is your situation, the relevant context that will will paint the photo for what you want. Right? So think of it, if you're working with a consultant and you had to give them an initial brief the first time that you meet, you're going to give them a lot of information, right? So they can do a good job for you. So a bad prompt example is help me write a marketing email, right? That's vague, that has no information, that allows ChatGPT to guess your industry, your audience, your tone, your goal, and it makes a lot of assumptions, just like my hubby, right? Bringing the queso instead of the guac when I didn't even want that in the first place, right? So a good prompt, right? I own a boutique hotel in South Beach that caters to, and I have to move this, LGBTQ travelers. We just renovated our rooftop bar. I want to drive bookings for Pride Month. Specific. You tell me who's your audience, who you are, why you're asking for that, what is the objective. So you're giving it the pre-existing conditions. Then you want to assign a role to the AI. Tell ChatGPT who to be. So if you're planning a trip to Puerto Rico, ChatGPT, I want you to be the best travel advisor there ever was. Ask it to be a hospitality expert, a business development expert, a market analyst. And that really helps because the single steps really shapes the tone, perspective, and expertise of the response that ChatGPT is giving you. So obviously, if you tell it, hey, explain this to me like I'm in fifth grade, is going to be different than, hey, give this to me, pretend you're a lawyer. That's going to change the tone, that's going to change the scope, that's going to change the knowledge, that's going to change everything. Then you want to give ChatGPT explicit instructions, right? Notice that it's not an I, the acronym is not PREPA, it's an E for explicit instructions. So this is your actual task. Be specific. Vague instructions produce vague results. So again, a bad example of explicit instructions would be, give me some ideas for my business, right? A strong instruction is, give me ideas for a marketing plan that increases foot traffic to my Wynwood restaurant by 20%, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, as you can see there on the slide. You're telling it specifics. You're saying, so you already gave it the context, you assigned it a role, and now you're telling it exactly what you want. Explicit instructions. Then, I'm sure you've all noticed, ChatGPT loves to give you too much, right? It loves to make assumptions. It loves to give you extra. It loves to offer you extra things, too much. So you want to actually put it in a box. give it parameters, right? So for me, for example, for my YouTube videos, they usually have to be 1,500 characters or less. So I tell ChatGPT, give me a description that is 1,500 characters or less. Write exactly 3 paragraphs. Do it in bullet points, right? Make it 3 pages. As far as tone, right? Make it professional. Make it conversational, but not corporate, right? Make it approachable, right? As far as format, give this to me in a table with columns for action, timeline, cost, client name, etc. Right? Give it to me in a Google Word doc, right? In a Google Doc, on a Google Sheet, or in an Excel. And then you can also tell it the sources. Hey, only reference data from 2023 and after, or don't use Wikipedia, or only use reputable news agencies. Only go to Reddit and other online forums, right? You can be really specific. And again, the goal here is to stop ChatGPT from making assumptions, right? You tell it what you want, you put it in a box, so it stops doing all the extra stuff that we don't actually need, that actually just gets in our way, right? When it's giving us all those responses. And then finally, I promise you, this is your secret app weapon, right? As I told you, the goal of this prompt framework is to give it as much information as possible. So we're going to end our prompt with, before you start, ask me, is there any other information that you need? Is there anything else that I can tell you that would impact these results? Ask me 3 to 5 questions. Ask me 1 or 2 questions, right? Whatever you have time for. This really transforms ChatGPT from a vending machine that's just giving you a bunch of stuff that's in it into an actual consultant, right? The same way that if you came to the discovery call with me, I would be asking you questions, right? Tell me about your business. Tell me about your audience. Tell me about blah, 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 right? So tell ChatGPT, hey, do you need more information? Ask me, and I will tell you before you complete this task. So this, and then like I said, you can also do, hey, ask me 3 to 5, or ask me 1 question at a time, because again, ChatGPT loves you too much, right? If you just say, ask me questions, it's going to come back to you with 25 questions that you don't have time for. And so giving it some parameters there as well. So you can see the goal here, as I mentioned, is to give it more information, give it good, reliable information, and stop it from making assumptions, right? And then it's going to give you exactly what you want. So as an example, right, let's see what a PREPA prompt looks like. So I am a certified LGBTQ plus event planning company in Miami. We specialize in corporate events and have 3 employees and about $400,000 a year in revenue. And we want to scale up to $1 million a year. So for the role, act as a business growth strategy who specializes in scaling service businesses. For explicit instructions, create a 12-month roadmap identifying top revenue opportunities, milestones, and marketing channels. Then we're going to get some parameters, right? Format this as a quarterly timeline, keep it actionable, not theoretical, include estimated revenue and impact per milestone. I could have also added here, make it a 2-page document, give me the budget in a Google Sheet, right? And then to end, before you start, ask me 3 to 5 clarifying questions that can help improve your response. And so structuring your prompt like this, and even including more information, right? This is a little short just for a workshop today. If this was my real prompt in my work, it would be a lot longer than this. It would include a lot more information. I would include more figures. Anything that I know already, I would include it so that the AI doesn't assume it. So that is a little bit of a refresher, as I mentioned, of our PREPA framework. I really encourage you to use it. If you can't remember all of that, remember one thing: give it more information. Don't let it make assumptions. Garbage in, garbage out, right? So remember that. You're going to get much better results moving forward. So in line with that, I did want to talk about one of my favorite tools, and it's called Deep Research Mode. So Deep Research Mode is ChatGPT's most powerful research tool. It is not going to give you an instant response. So when you enter a regular prompt, it gives you a response right away. Deep research mode can spend anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes or so doing research for you, depending on what you're researching about. Reading dozens or even hundreds of sources and compiling a full-cited report for you. So you can think of it as hiring a research analyst for 30 minutes or so for the cost of the $20 a month ChatGPT subscription, right? So we can do market research for you. So for example, before launching a product or service or entering a new market, do a lot of really deep research about the market. You can research your competitors. It can research regulations and different certifications that may be relevant to your business. And it can come up for you with industry trend reports about your specific industry or target market as well. So what does that look like? Well, actually, something should know, right, about deep research mode. The advantage of it is the transparency. So exactly as it's working, as I'm going to show you, it tells you what it's doing and the sources that it's using. So it cites all the sources that it used at the end of the work in order to avoid hallucinations. It will take maybe 20 to 100 pages of search. And let me just allow, looks like somebody's trying to get in the meeting. Let me just let them in. Okay, so it will read between 20 and 100 different pages for you, depending on what you're searching, and it will synthesize information for you. So it'll put all of those different sources together, synthesize it, make logic out of it, and then draws conclusions. And so it avoids plagiarism as well in that sense. So this is your business partner. It can be your investment advisor, your own team of researchers ready for you to use. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So I have an example here of a prompt that we're going to structure as the PREPA framework, and we're going to use the deep research mode. So the Miami LGBTQ Chamber represents hundreds of LGBTQ plus business and allied in the Miami-Dade County across hospitality, legal, real estate, etc. And many of our members are business owners seeking revenue growth and competitive advantage. And 1 second, someone else trying to get in. Let's do that. We got to let her in, right? For the role, we want ChatGPT to act as a market research analyst. For the instructions, I'm going to tell it to identify the top 5 highest growth opportunities for small LGBTQ-owned businesses in Miami-Dade from 2024 until today. And for each one, I want you to research the market size, the competition level, what are the startup costs, and give me concrete examples. For the parameters, I've told it use just data since 2025, include a professional report, only include accessible or trustworthy sources, and include links. And then as always, I'm telling you to ask us before starting. So let's go ahead and we're going to enter this into ChatGPT so that we can see how it works. And we have to share that other tab. All right, so you guys can see my ChatGPT. Yes, you can. So once you're in ChatGPT, in order to access these different features that we're going to talk about today, including the research mode, you will just hit right here on the plus sign. This is the same place where you would go if you wanted to add a photo or a file, for example. But we're going to choose deep research mode. And just to be clear, this is only available if you're paying the $20 a month subscription minimum, right? So you click on deep research mode. We're going to put in our prompts. Obviously, you don't have to write context and, role. This is just from our slide, right? And for today's workshop, the prompt that I just read. And as always, I'm telling you before you start, ask me 3 to 5 clarifying questions if needed. So sometimes it doesn't ask questions, sometimes it does. So let's see what it's going to ask us, if anything. So while it's working, I can give an example, right? Whenever I do workshops like this, I run this prompt to help me find the local businesses and their emails. So I usually run a prompt to help me find small businesses in specific industries within zip code, 33139 or whatever the Brickell zip code or downtown. And then I email those businesses, inviting them to my workshop. So it's a great way to generate leads as well, as an example. So ChatGPT is asking us questions here for our deep research. Actually, no, it's not asking us questions. It's just telling me this is the plan that I'm going to execute for this deep research. I can either agree with it or I can edit it if I don't agree with the plan. In this case, yeah, this looks like a good plan. So I'm just going to have it start. And ChatGPT is going to start doing its deep research. So we'll come back to this here before the end of the workshop. Please remind me so we can take a look. Like I said, this is going to be live searching the internet and cross-referencing different sources. So it can take up to 30 minutes for it to actually give you a response, but it's going to give you a really, really amazing and high quality academic level paper response. So while that's working, let's talk about your security and privacy settings. Like, this is so important, and it's the number one thing that businesses and people, private as well, forget. I think that by now, by 2026, most of us have an understanding, like most of us have been online, right, for the past 30 years. And we understand that when something online is free, that means that you are actually the product, right? They're using you, they're using your data. That's how they can provide you the service for free. And that has not changed in the age of AI. So if you use a free version of ChatGPT, that's totally fine. Know that they are training their new models on your data. So everything that you upload goes into their database as extra data that they're training on. And so what that actually means is that when they release new models, some of the stuff that you uploaded can come up in responses, right? So if one of your competitors is searching for specific things and happens to ask about the services that you offer, different plans that you've uploaded to ChatGPT, that can actually come out in their answers. So let's make sure that we are not training ChatGPT or our competitors, right? And we're going to do that by very simply, you're going to go to your settings. So if you're on the desktop, it is on the bottom left. If you're on your phone, you should be able to easily find it as well on your settings. So once you click on settings, we are going to click on data controls. And where it says improve the model for everyone, it sounds really nice, right? But it's actually not. Turn that off. Just turn it off and they won't be training on your data. So that's the number one thing. You can also take a look at the other data controls here that you have. So look at different chats that maybe you've archived in the past. You can clear all your chat history, delete it all. If you are someone that's decided to use a different AI tool out there, maybe you heard about Claude or about Perplexity and you want to give it a try, you can also export all your data here and upload it to that new tool so you don't have to start over. And so that's number one, your security settings. Let's make sure that you have improved the model turned off. We do not care about them helping them improve their model, okay? Then, number two, you should know about temporary chats. So as you probably already know, ChatGPT is saving everything that you are chatting with it about so it can improve their answers for you. But maybe you want to chat about something that you don't necessarily want it to save, right? You can use a temporary chat and then it won't save that. And that's very simple. When you're here, creating a new chat, up on the top right, if you're on the desktop, and maybe I can zoom in, yeah, on the top right here, turn on temporary chat, and then that will be on. You can chat with it about everything that you want, and it won't be saved. So think of it as the Incognito mode, right, in your Google Chrome browser, for example. This is the ChatGPT version of that. So know about that. And then We're going to talk a little bit more about connected apps here in a little bit, but you can connect other apps to ChatGPT, and so ChatGPT can cross-reference different things for you. So you just want to always make sure that you review that and ensure what you're giving ChatGPT access to, right? So again, we would go to the settings, and there is a tab here called apps. Now, there's a good moment to talk about this. In case you didn't know, you can connect ChatGPT to different apps. So as you can see here, I have it connected to Gmail and my Google Drive. I should have it connected to my Google Calendar as well. I'm not sure why. But what this means is that ChatGPT can reference my emails directly. It can reference documents in my Google Drive directly as well. It can check events on my Google Calendar. And let me see, there's someone else trying to get in. Okay. And it can, do a lot of different things. So always check which apps you currently have authorized. And then, of course, to add more apps and make ChatGPT more useful for you, you can click here on Add More. And as you're about to see on my screen, there is a plethora of apps from Photoshop to Booking.com to OpenTable and TripAdvisor, Spotify, and so many more. Probably if there is a software out there that you're using on the day-to-day, you can search for it here and find it. And most of them are free to connect. And it will just make ChatGPT much more useful for you, right? So as you can see here, Adobe, Photoshop, Asana, Dropbox, right? Diego, great question. So Diego is asking if it's safe to connect ChatGPT to your Gmail. And my answer to that question is a very strong maybe, right? So we can only trust these companies so much, right? So I would say OpenAI is as trustworthy as any of these other major tech companies, right? So if you trust Google, if it's something that you would upload to Google, I wouldn't have a problem with uploading it to OpenAI as well. We have to understand these companies, these tech overlords are all the same, right? And so is it safe as far as you're going to get hacked? I don't think it will. Is it safe as do I trust these companies with your data? I'm not so sure, right? So take that. Well.
Thank you, Thiago, because I didn't know that you can do that. And you know that now that ChatGPT has all the information, and besides like giving them all my own information for Drive, I not feel safe with that. I know that Gemini will have it because it's Google, so they already have access to everything, but I don't trust.
That's the thing, right? That's what I say with a grain of salt, right? Like I'm an AI actually. I call myself like I'm an AI realist. Like I'm never the guy that's coming in here and telling people let's apply AI to everything. I'm actually quite skeptical, right? So when somebody asks me, can I trust this? My answer is always maybe, right? We don't know. Like we don't know. These companies are not transparent, right? But what I can say is there's safety of data. If you trust the company, so to speak, they will protect your data just as well as Google would, as Microsoft would, and any of these places can be hacked, right? But as far as do you trust them, as how are they going to use your data and weaponize it against you to make you buy things? I don't know that I trust them with that, right? So just being real.
Thank you.
Diego, I'm gonna be careful with the Gmail because Gmail is I use it sometimes for like a personal, but my work email, for example, from the company that I do the client development, that is different platform. Do you think that it's gonna be safe to
Yeah, so kind of same answer to Diego, right? I happen to think the opposite of what you're saying, right? Like I have it connected to my work stuff, my Gmail for work, because I care a little bit less about that. I mean, I really care about my work, but like there's nothing private there that is really gonna, get out there. But I don't connect it to my private Gmail, you know what I mean? Even because also most of the things that I needed to connect to Gmail would be work stuff anyway, so there's not really much of a point for me, right? But I do have it connected to my Gmail, as you saw, and so yeah, I trust it as far as I can throw it, basically. You know what I mean? So So yes, connected apps. Explore through here and see what is available that you're already using. It's really, really useful, and then ChatGPT can access it directly. But again, the point being, from time to time, just make sure that you go into your settings and take a look at the different apps that you have connected and ensure that you want them to continue having access, right? Beyond privacy settings, I would love for us all to take a look at your personalization settings and custom instructions, because this will save you a ton of time, right? So remember, I told you the PREPA framework. The first thing we should do is give it the context, right? Who you are, what's going on with the project, blah, blah, blah. This will really help you make that process a little bit shorter. So you're not going to have to repeat every time who you are, right? It's already going to know that. Maybe in that point, you can just start with the context of the question, the context of the problem that you're trying to solve. But it's already going to know about your company, your goals, your clients, the usual tone that you like it to have. And so to access that, we will go back to our settings. So again, if you're on the desktop, it's on your bottom left. And you're going to click, you can either click on settings or click on personalization. Either way, it's going to get you there. And you're going to see some, there you go, let me zoom in. And you're going to see some really cool settings here that you can change. So first one being the base, tone, and style that ChatGPT talks to you all the time. You're going to see there's a ton of choices here, from just their default to professional, friendly, candid, quirky. I have mine set to nerdy because that's just my vibe, right? But you can, it's cynical if that's who you are as a person. You can automatically have that already set up for you, right? Then you can also set some other characteristics for it, like how warm is it? How enthusiastic is it in its responses, right? I know some people get annoyed how ChatGPT is always like, oh, wow, amazing, you're a genius, you know? So if you want to reduce that, you can do that here. If it uses more headers and lists is another setting. Whether or not it uses emojis is another setting. And then you can also add some custom instructions. So for example, for me, I tell you like it is. Don't sugarcoat your responses. Don't be overly verbose, because as you guys know, sometimes ChatGPT likes to go on and on and on with like extra fluff, right? And then the one that everybody always loves is everyone's favorite. Don't use M dashes in your response, right? Like the biggest giveaway that something was written by AI is the M dash. So I specifically tell my ChatGPT, do not use that in your responses. Stop that. ChatGPT, you can tell it a nickname that you want it to call you. So I just have it call me my name. I have a friend who has his ChatGPT call him daddy, and so if that's your thing, that's totally fine. It will call you whatever you want, right? You can tell it a little bit about your occupation, a little bit more about you, and you can also check on the memories that it has saved about you. So I am not going to click on this right now because I do not need everybody seeing the memories that ChatGPT is keeping about me. But you can click here, see what ChatGPT is remembering about you, and you can delete some of those things as well if you want. So good idea to look from time to time. And I think somebody else was trying to get in. No, they left. Okay.
I'm gonna ask you something, Diego, quickly.
Just tell me.
I know that the dash is the main issue right now. So now thank you for the setting, because what I do, I told ChatGPT all about me, who I am, how I write in Spanish, how professional I like to be. And I told him exactly the way that I do my emails in Spanish. So I want to do it the same in English. So all the time when I write in English, he gives you correction because technically I've been writing the way that. But my question with the dash, my husband is a very executive person. Yeah. And he always used the dash. I like the way that he write his email professionally for chamber, for board and things like that. And I always wanted to be like that. I wanted to be very professional doing the dash. So I asked ChatGPT like a training on how to use that. So I started using that by default, not because he's doing that. But now people are thinking not to use it because that's ChatGPT thing. So what do you think? I don't know.
Well, it just depends on your work, right? So for me, I always review everything that I never just send out something that ChatGPT just writes for me anyways, right? I usually review it, I make some edits, and then I send it out. Like, I don't necessarily want things to just look, I mean, obviously everybody knows I'm an AI consultant, right? I'm using AI for a lot of the things that I do. It's not a secret. I'm not trying to hide that I'm using AI, but people feel a type of way, right? When they get an email and it's very clearly like 100% AI and no human emotion behind it. So I think the M-dash thing specifically, ChatGPT is going to continue changing. It's already using it less often. Now, the new thing with ChatGPT is a list of 3 things, if you've noticed. It's like, oh, this is what we're going to do today. 1, 2, 3, and like every post on LinkedIn looks the same, It's like, oh, it's not about this, it's about that. You know what I mean? And like ChatGPT tells everybody those answers. And so there's things that go changing over time. It just kind of depends on how your work comes across to your clients and how you want it to look, right? And so for me, I say no on dashes, and it's helped save some time. So those are your custom instructions and memory, right? Remember to make sure to add your custom instructions, and then from time to time, check what memories ChatGPT is saving and remembering about you. And oh, there you go. I had a section here about connected apps, but we've already just covered that when I was talking about the security settings, right? So again, Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Drive, I believe Microsoft Office apps are in there as well, different CRMs. Make sure that you connect those apps, and again, only available for the paid subscriptions. And then finally, the last ChatGPT power tool, I would say, that we're going to look at today is the ChatGPT agent mode. So I know that you've heard a lot about agents so far. It's kind of the talk of the town right now. This is a built-in agent that is already included in your subscription. I think you can run, depending on the subscription that you have, between 5 and 10 agent tasks per month or something like that. I'm not sure if they've increased it recently, but in any case, there's a limited number that you can use even if you're a paid user. And the cool thing about it is that it can do things for you in different softwares, in different apps, and follow the steps. So it can, pull things from your Gmail and pull them from your Google Calendar, add them to your CRM, and so on and so forth. So the way that you work is, number 1, you connect it to your apps. Number 2, you clearly articulate the task that you want. You give it the different logins that it needs. If it doesn't have already through the connected apps, make sure that you're using the PREPA framework so you can get really good results. Then you're going to review and approve the step-by-step that ChatGPT will give you, and ChatGPT is going to do it for you. And I'm about to show you an example. Let me let Pablo in. All right. Let me show you an example of ChatGPT agent in action. So, as a use case, this thing keeps, right. As a use case, right? Okay, sorry guys, this thing is, there you go. Okay, as a use case, it can read your Gmail, research your contacts, fetch documents for you from your Google Drive and reference them, write a follow-up email to the client, and then add the notes about everything that it just did directly into your CRM that is connected to it. So it's the idea is really taking actions across your different tools and across the web as well, things that you normally would do manually. So the example that we're going to look at is going to be I will read this for you. Let me zoom in. So we always start with the pre-existing conditions, right? I run a real estate business in Miami, and I'm looking to land new corporate clients who are actively expanding or locating to the Miami-Dade area. And then I tell you that I use Google Drive, and I use Gmail, and I use Google Calendar. Then I tell it, act as my business development associate who is resourceful, thorough, and writes compelling outreach. And then here's where it gets interesting. This is what we're going to have this agent do for us. Do the following steps in order. Browse the South Florida Business Journal website and any other relevant sources to find 5 companies that have recently announced that they're expanding to Miami, or that they're relocating, or that they're opening new offices within the last 6 months. Then for each one of those companies, I want you to compile the names, what they do, what the announcement is about, and the name and title of the relevant decision maker for that expansion project. And then using language and positioning from my actual documents that you can find in my Google Drive, create a one-page or Google Doc, a prospecting brief tailored to these 5 clients, check my calendar for open 30-minute slots over the next week, and then draft 3 personalized cold outreach emails to these prospects and save each one of them as a draft in my Gmail. So as you can see, it's a multi-step prompt, right? I'm telling you to do the research. I'm telling you to create a document with these columns. I'm telling you to look through my Drive for the type of language and the proposals that I usually make. And then look at my calendar for open slots and draft the emails that I'm going to send to these hopefully new clients in my business, right? These new leads. Parameters, I'm telling you, keep each email under 150 words, professional but warm and not salesy. And then I talk a little bit more about the prospecting brief and blah, blah, blah. And then, as always, I end it with, before you begin, ask me any qualifying questions you need in order to get the best results. So let's see if we can get these agents to actually work. Go back to ChatGPT, and I'll show you. Again, when you're creating a new chat in ChatGPT, we would go here to the plus sign, the same place that we found the deep research, right? You can see here there's our shopping research mode as well that we're not covering today, but I encourage you to try it. You're going to select agent mode. As soon as you select agent mode, you're going to see that it's going to show you already the apps that you have it connected to and suggest more apps that you can connect it to so this agent can access them directly on your behalf. I'm going to paste my prompt I just read to you. And let's see if it's actually going to ask us some questions this time or if it's just going to get you work. Stuff depends, I know. It's thinking. Okay. Any questions, anybody, while this agent decide if it's how it's going to work for us? No? All right. So it's setting up the desktop here. And again, you're going to see that it looks just like as if like a ghost was browsing the web. It's going to show us a desktop screen and the agent actually clicking through different things and completing that task for us. The cool thing about this also is that you can sit there and watch all the you want, and people do. And it's interesting. But at any point, if you see the agent's doing something that you don't want it to do, you can also stop it. So there is a trigger for you to stop the agent because that's anything that you don't want it to do. Did somebody have a question? Sam, yeah, you had a question. Yeah.
Thanks. So, using this, that's kind of
Hey, Tim, I'm sorry. Getting a lot of, like, the call quality is not that good. I heard you saying something about connected apps, but I couldn't really understand past that.
I'm going to put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you. I'll take a look there. Okay, everybody, this is not working currently. ChatGPT, as you can see here, it says setting up my desktop, but it's not going. So I'll come back here in a little bit and we can see if it decided to get going. But the idea here being, and this normally works, I promise, it will actually follow all of those different steps and create those for us. And I think I actually have here, there you go. I did run this same prompt earlier today when I was preparing for this workshop, and I have here the result. It defined me those businesses, the names of the, so these are businesses that announced new offices that are going to be opening this year. The decision maker and the other information that I asked for as well, including the prospecting brief that I asked for about market expansions, and the meeting slots that I'm available, and the outreach email drafts that I asked for. So it's extremely impressive, right? Especially, as I said, for me, as someone who is always trying to find leads for my events, this is a extremely, extremely powerful tool. And okay, I'm going back here to my agent. Is it starting? Yeah, the agent doesn't want to work, but again, it will complete those tasks for you. If you have any issues as you're trying to use it for the first time, feel free to email me as well as, and I'll walk you through it. But the key there is providing very specific instructions, right? And using the PREPA framework as I showed you as well. So, as a brief summary, when to use what, right? We just talked about a lot of different things over the past 50 minutes or so. So I have a bit of a summary here for us. If you just need a quick answer or a quick brainstorm, just continue using the standard ChatGPT mode, just as you've always been doing. Make sure that you apply that PREPA framework so you can get better results. But when you need deep market research or analyzing trends or higher quality, very highly relevant output, use the deep research mode, right? If you want work done multi-steps across your different business tools, use the agent mode plus the different connected apps that ChatGPT can access. Remember to use the temporary chat mode if you're uploading sensitive or confidential information or prompts. Remember to check your custom instructions and set up your memory, and turn off data training, right? Very, very, very important. So with that, your homework for this week, hopefully for today, number one, let's lock down your privacy. Do not be training your competitors. Number two, set up your custom instructions. And number three, connect your apps. If you get through all of this, you can do it within the next 15 minutes or so after we end the call. You're already going to be in a much higher quality place with your answers. Then from there, try running a deep research query, whether it's for something personal or for your business, and just try it out. And then have some fun using the agent mode. See if you can get it to go out there and find some real leads for your business or complete a task that maybe you've been putting off doing for a while. And with that, that is the end here. We do have about 10 minutes or so for some questions. I appreciate the Chamber for having me back. I hope that you guys enjoyed the workshop. If you did enjoy the workshop, it really goes a long way for me if you would scan the QR code and rate and view my business. Even if you don't have time to write anything, just leaving the rating there with the stars already is a huge help. So I appreciate everybody's time. And again, if anybody has any questions, I will happily take them here.
Thank you, Thiago. It was awesome. It's really interesting.
Thank you, Ray. Oh, and I think, yeah, Tim said he was going to upload a question to the chat, right? Let's see.
I'm reading all my questions, and you already answered the question during the chat, the meeting, so thank you.
Good. Okay, so Tim asked, do you need all the apps connected before you ask the agent mode to do something, or will it tell you if it needs apps that you have not connected? Yeah, great question, Tim. It's better if you haven't connected already. But for example, when I was testing that prompt earlier, it did tell me, hey, I don't have access to your Google Calendar. Can you log in for me? And it let me take control. I enter my username and password, and then it continued working from there. So it will stop and ask you if it needs additional access or additional information. I can stop presenting. Any other questions, everybody, that I can answer?
Yeah, I put another question on the chat.
Oh, you did? Okay, awesome. Let's see. You can just tell me, Ray. We can hear you.
Okay. What are some practical ways small businesses or independent creators can turn ChatGPT into revenue-generating tool rather than just productivity tool?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the main things is finding leads, right? I think for the majority of small businesses, like finding those leads and finding those prospects is such a big part of the work that we do, right? Just generating new business. And ChatGPT can really help you with that, especially the deep research mode and the agent mode, doing research around your area, finding relevant business opportunities and the contacts. Like that's the key, right? It finds you the contacts of people that you can reach out directly by email, let them know about your business and your services. So if you have any cold emailing campaigns, for example, that you're usually running, that is one of the great ways as well. And then, of course, as you mentioned, all the different ways that you can actually increase your revenue by the fact that you're just being more productive and having more output as well, right? So any other question, everybody, before we take off? Awesome. Okay, so that being the case, thank you. I'll give you guys back 5 minutes so you can use those 5 minutes to go to your personalization and security settings and be productive with that time. I hope that this was useful for everybody. And I trust that if you do apply these things that we saw today, you are going to get much better results from ChatGPT or any other tools that you guys use. So thank you, and I'll see everybody at the next event.
And this webinar is going to be on YouTube channel for the chamber. So thank you everybody for your participation. So well, thank you. Thank you, Thiago.
Okay, thanks everybody.